Good afternoon, YouTube Nation. This video is about Bentonville, Arkansas, but it's not about mountain biking or even Walmart. For Tina's birthday this year, she wanted to go mountain biking in Bentonville. We did a ton of mountain biking while we were there, which you can find those videos on my channel. However, this video is not about mountain biking. This is about where we stayed. We didn't do the traditional Airbnb or even a hotel. We found an awesome little campground right at Coler Mountain Bike Park. Some of the basics of the campground are, there's only 16 tent campground sites. There's 5 RV/van pull-in spots, and there's one ADA compatible spot. There is no electricity at each site. However, there is an outlet at the shower facilities that you can use for recharging your phones, your e-bikes, and things like that. We use that outlet to charge our phones and Tina's e-bike. Also, the campground is gated. You can't get in without key code access, so that's a nice deterrent for people just driving through the campground. The shower facilities are also pass coded, and you have to have one to get in, so you don't just have strangers walking off the street. The campground is set up a little bit different. You will not be able to drive up to your actual campsite, which is nice. They have a separate parking lot for cars, which are numbered. The parking spots are numbered based on your camp spot. So we were in number 16, so we parked in slots number 16. We actually had 2 spots. We only needed 1, so we had plenty of space for parking. Okay, now why is this a good thing? Well, because if you sleep in different or go to bed different, you don't have cars driving by all night. Everyone parks in one spot. You walk to your sites, which is another thing. You have to either carry your stuff to your site, or they provide nice little carts that you can load up with your stuff and roll it on into your campsite area. There's no barbecue grills anywhere in the campground. Each site has its own little fire pit you could use, but it actually, when I think about it, it's not too bad because you don't have the mess and the fuss of, or sometimes even the smell of the fire pit. That keeps the campground pretty clean. Now you can bring your own camp stove in, which is no problem. We didn't. We brought a cooler of food, but you can bring your own camp stove, and they have these little features spaced throughout the facility where if it's a windy day, you can actually put your cook stove in this structure and it's going to be out of the wind, so you can cook on it there. So the tent sites are all spread out, so you're very secluded, and that gives you a nice sense of peace and quiet. Now, speaking of quiet, the quiet hours at the campground are listed from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. and surprisingly, it was well attended. I mean, at 10 o'clock there was really no noise, no other camper noise. You could just listen to the sounds of nature. So it was appreciated, it was followed, and I like those. Now we'll get to some of the best parts of the campsite. There were no bugs. There were no bugs to speak of. We brought bug spray, but we never had to use it. Campground is very affordable, and it's located right on the Coler Trail system, so you can actually ride your bike from your tent or campground site directly onto the trails. The campground itself is about 3 miles from downtown, which was really nice because we pretty much went into town a couple times a day, close to a lot of the other trail systems. So yeah, you had access pretty much everywhere. Now, my favorite part was the campground manager. Ben was the campground manager. He's probably the coolest campground manager I've ever met. He was awesome, so knowledgeable not only about the campground itself, but about the local trail systems, activities that are going on throughout town. He was a wealth of information and just a really cool guy. So if you see the campground manager, give Ben a shout out. The shower facilities were first rate. Yeah, they're top notch. Just the shower facilities alone, when you go to camping, usually they're run down and dirty and everybody's been using them. These were top notch. They were clean, probably class A bathrooms. In summary, we felt this campground is definitely a place we're going to go stay again. We didn't mind not having power at the tent site. We basically just use the campsite for sleeping, cleaning up, and regrouping occasionally. So check out the links I'm putting in the summary. That'll take you to how to register at Coler. There's 2 sizes of campsites, large and small. We got the small one. Make sure you choose the right size for your tent setup because they are all on platforms. It keeps you up on level. It keeps you off the ground in case of rain. and it was pretty nice to sleep on a level surface. As you watch the video, you're going to see a lot of cool little things that I didn't mention here that are available at the campsite. So keep an eye on in the details of the video. Feel free to put any comments in the bottom as to what kind of questions you may have, or likes or dislikes. Oh yeah. That was awesome. To get into the campground, you get a code. You get an email the night before, the day before, and when you get here, there's a little keypad. You enter your code. The code starts with a hashtag. Don't forget to put the hashtag in. Once you put your 4-digit code in, you'll hear that beep, and the gate starts to open, and you can go in. The gate will self-close when you're done, and to get out, simply pull forward and the gate opens up. As you come through, there's one ADA spot off to the left here, and as you can see, the parking spots are numbered. So you'll find your campsite number, and that's where you get to park. We're in number 16, which is the farthest away. Okay, we're in campsite 16. They actually give you 2 parking spots per campsite, so plenty of parking. We have plenty of space between our neighbors. Okay, so I'm in my parking spot. Those are the bathrooms. They're kind of rustic looking. We'll take a tour of those in a few moments. But for now, I'm going to take you on a bike tour down to our campsite. So the campsites are down at the end there. You cannot drive to your campsite. You have to portage in unless you're at one of these first couple spots. Here by the bathrooms, there's a public seating area. There's a public fire pit, a bike rack. There's a bike fixing station. And those are carts that you can load your stuff up and take it to your campsite, so you don't have to carry everything by hand. Over here is access to the Coler bike trail system. You can ride down there to the left of that van. There's a turnaround. You can park in, unload your vehicle, and take your stuff to your campsite. There's 16 campsites, and it looks like there's 5 or 6 RV van type parking spots. There's a potable water pump right here. A doggy. Bear-proof trash bins. Each of the van sites come with leveling and up on the hillside you'll see the campsites. They're all platforms. You have to camp on the platform with your tent. We're beyond this area. We're in the farthest campsite, so we had to bring all of our stuff down to here in those little carts, which actually are pretty handy. Alright, this fixture I had to ask what it was for. You can put, if it's windy day, you can put your stove in there and cook. You can actually hook onto it and hook up to a tree for hammocks. And we're down, good morning. We're down this row. That's our tent, our campsite. And you can see the neighbors. You're pretty secluded from everyone. Got a nice level pad, a fire pit, a picnic table, a level platform, and our tree. And up there in the woods you can see another one of those metal things that we can use to hang up hammocks. There's plenty of trees around it. I've been told it'll hold up to 4 people because it's concreted in. Okay, we got our campsite set up. Tina did a nice job with the tent and the air mattresses, and I sat here and watched.
He did all the pulling of the stuff.
Don't let her fool you. Blah, 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 blah.
Ah.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, the campsite itself does not have electricity. So if you bring air mattresses, bring an alternate way to pump them up. I bought one of those 1999 little battery powered pumps. It worked fantastic. It only took a couple minutes, blew our stuff up. But it gets hot down here in the summer. It's been in the mid 80s the whole time we've been here, and so it's been bearable. As you can see, it's pretty well shaded, but on a 90 and above day, if you're hanging out here, it's going to get hot and humid. The really cool part about this place is, as you can see, I'm not doing this. There's been no bugs. I don't know what they did, if it's the floral fauna. I don't think that they don't spray, but there's no bugs. It's amazing. Yeah, and when you wake up, there's like a million different birds chirping. So many different sounds. It's just gorgeous, and it's so nice to wake up as the sun's coming up. The birds are chirping. But I've been told, when it rains, you can hear the frogs, that they'll go into a symphony that's almost deafening. So I don't know, we haven't heard that yet, or when the cicadas are in season, so that would be pretty loud. Otherwise, the campsite is gorgeous. As far as the platform, it's nice because they've got it built on a hillside here, and the platform is level, comfortable, and easy to set up on. There are 2 sizes of platforms though, so make sure you get the size that fits the dimensions of the base of your tent. We got a small. We got a 9x7 tent. If you had a much bigger tent, it would never fit on this, so that limits what spots are available for you. Again, there's 16 campsites, and they're all out here in the woods, and they're all pretty secluded. Yeah, in case it rains, we're pretty well covered. I'm sure the campsite would get wet, but because it's on a hillside, it's going to drain pretty well. As you can see, we brought bug repellent, and we haven't had to use it at all. It's June 3rd today, and no bugs out. Yeah. So we have one more place to check out, the restrooms. Okay, let's go check out the facilities. Bike rack off to the right. There's a water fountain, a bike wash, a dishwashing sink, an e-bike charging station. Which, if you look, here's a bike rack. The e-bike charging station is a double outlet over here. So you can plug into that, charge up your bike. A word of caution: during the daytime, the sun comes from this direction, so your charger and your bike are both in direct sunlight. I'd bring a towel or something to cover them so they're shaded so they don't overheat. I didn't have any issues, but I could imagine the sun beats down pretty hot, and just cover yourself. Over here is the restroom. You do have to code to get in. Okay, this is like the Taj Mahal. It's immaculate. Over here there's restrooms. They're all private. There's an outdoor shower, which is awesome. Alright, so in this shower you have a rain shower. You're outdoors. Behind here, a little shelf and hooks, a small bench. Thanks, guys. And over here, here's what one of the regular showers look like. It's got a shower curtain, bench, shelf, hooks. The floors slant toward the drain so that everything out in this area tends to stay dry, which is nice, and when you're putting your fresh clothes on. So there's four regular showers. Oh, there's an ADA shower. This is an ADA shower, it looks like. There's also one ADA shower, 3 regular showers, the outdoor shower. Yeah, pretty handy. There's ceiling fans so everything stays cool. Feels like air conditioning in here. And that's your tour of the facilities. There is a baby changing station, 3 sinks, a huge mirror to see how good looking you are. And that's the campground. Plenty of shade. It's a cool place.